Let me move this a little closer. Hopefully everyone's doing good. Live again. Happy to chat with y'all about some of these cases on deck. So, of course, on one of my community posts, I posted that we would be having a discussion about the Siders family and the new information that I've been receiving about what is happening amongst the Siders family and what may happen in the future. So we'll give it a minute, get some more people in here, and then we're going to go over this. Also, of course, as I have been, we're going to stay on the Nancy Guthrie topic. Also, the Lynette Hooker case, as earlier today, I was one of the ones that broke the news that it seems like allegedly, and actually I should give my warnings real quick. Everything that I discuss is all only my opinion, everything alleged, and everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, earlier in the day, if anybody watched my live from earlier, you guys would recognize that I reported that Lynette Hooker may have been assaulted on the Soulmate boat by Brian, which ultimately may have led to Lynette Hooker's passing. Now, many people have theorized this. A lot of people thought that the dinghy story, we're going to call it, for lack of a better term, many people thought that was a bunch of bullshit, which, excuse my language, but, you know, we call it like we see it over here on this channel. So once again, we're calling it like we see it. And come to find out, sources closer to the investigation than even the reporters reporting on it, and family members, alleged family members, are stating this information. So very interesting information in the Lynette Hooker case. I do believe there's going to be a charge coming nonetheless for Mr. Brian Hooker himself, and that's the charge of the unaliving. So expect that. I think an indictment's coming very soon. We're going to see this very soon. I would expect it within the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. If my information is as correct as it seems to be, and if it's not that quick, then it's not going to be that much longer after it. So we're definitely looking at something serious and some serious information moving in the Lynette Hooker case. So we got a lot going on in this case right now, guys. And I'm going to stay reporting on this case until we get justice and then far after, just as I always do with every case that I cover. And if you're just joining in, please like the video and sub up if you haven't yet. What we do here on this channel is we cover true crime every single time, and we try to get closer to the answers. Also, on the videos that I post, they're mainly remote viewing session results videos that I allow you guys to see the information that I see during my remote viewing sessions. So I think if you like that stuff, you're going to love this channel. What's up, Angelica? Nice to see you today. I hope you're having a great day. Happiness says hi as well. Nice to see you. I like that name. Happiness every day with me. Very nice name. Nice to see you guys today. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the true crime news, even if it is as graphic as can be. This Siders case is pretty crazy, guys. And, you know, that's the main topic of this live tonight is going to be the Siders case. I know I'm jumping around a little bit because earlier in my live, we talked about the Lynette Hooker case, the Nancy Guthrie case, and the Siders case. So I'm kind of giving a little bit of a rerun, but there is new information that wasn't divulged earlier in the day that I am now going to process and divulge to you guys. Let's see. Happiness says, have you heard of the Moors unalives? No, I have not. Have not heard of that one. But anybody that wants to email me, you can email me at ZACJackson, that's Zach Jackson, 166. The number is 166 at gmail.com. If you guys have any interesting cases that you think I would be interested in, if you guys have any cold cases that you're interested in that you think I would be interested in, always feel free to send them to me. I like cold cases. I really do. That's kind of what I would call my specialty. And one feather, yes, the Siders case is what we're going to be talking about. So, if you guys haven't heard yet, the Siders case is a family where there were 16 what are described as feral-seeming children in a one-room area. Now, a lot of these children couldn't talk, read, write, none of that. So, and what has come out, this is some new information that I don't think people have reported on yet because it just came out hours ago. But the prosecutor was asked, do they have all of the birth certificates? And he took a very long pause, an extremely long pause, and then responded, well, I can't tell you that yet because we don't know. Now, the way I read into that is, and this is just my opinion, but I believe that all of these births, if not, I would say 90% of these births occurred at home. And for some reason, somebody within that family didn't want Elizabeth going to the hospital to have these children. Now, that's my opinion on it. Why? I am not sure yet. I'm still wondering this. Still wondering why. Why did it happen? And also, reports are now coming out that Elizabeth also had conjoined twins that did not make it. Now, I don't know exactly which year this was, but this just adds to the amount of children, and rest in peace, but this is a overwhelming amount of children. I am pretty sure she had 3 sets of twins as well on top of the conjoined ones. So that would make 4 sets of twins. Obviously, I just stated that one of the sets did not survive. Let's see. Happiness says, I'm trying to remember. It's not a cold case, but I think their names were Bradley and Myra, and they kidnapped and unalived, I believe, 5 kids and buried their bodies up in the moors. Their bodies were found and the motives were never discovered. Wow. That always is very troublesome, especially for somebody like me who's super analytical and always wants to know the answers to everything. The fact that if the motives were never discovered with that case you're talking about, Happiness, that's very gruesome and sad. Wow, it's sad. I'll have to look into that, though. I'll definitely look into that. I haven't heard about it yet till now, so thanks for letting me know, though. But yeah, back onto the Siders case. So also, some new critical information that has happened is Gary Siders Sr. was going to court and had a medical emergency. Apparently, he collapsed, fell over, whatever you want to call it. Something very bad was happening, and he had to get treatment. Now, once he got this first part of the treatment, allegedly, they realized that Gary Siders Sr. has a serious medical condition. Now, what that condition is, it hasn't been reported yet, but allegedly it's serious. Now, I wonder, has this condition ever been treated, right? Because they kind of look like, and I'm not judging here, but I mean, come on now, it's hard not to. They kind of seem like a type of people that weren't going to the hospital often, as I stated previously, like how they had all the children at home, allegedly. So there's a lot going on, guys, a lot going on. But let me throw this away real quick. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Happiness said, thank you. We'll join live another time. Bye. Appreciate that. I'm glad you were here today, guys. Glad you guys are here today. But yeah, let me get back on track to the Siders case. So Gary Siders Sr. then was transported to a different area, and apparently he has something serious going on with him health-wise. Now, since he is still looked at as a innocent until proven guilty person, the county didn't want to pay for his treatment, is what it comes down to. And so instead of having the county pay for his treatment, he was then released on recognizance. So basically he bonded. Basically it's like bonding out. However, he is now getting treatment. I think it's in Athens. It's in Athens hospital. And if and when he is able to go back on his own accord, he will then be put on a GPS monitor and he'll then be going home. Now, the prosecutor wanted to stress that the community is not in any danger of this if and when this occurs, because most likely he will be released on his own with that GPS monitor. And I found out that the community is extremely concerned that this was a case of human you-know-what, when they sell you-know-what. Now, prosecutor reminded everybody that is not the case. This is not a case of that. So if anybody's wondering if there was any child you-know-what going on, allegedly and apparently there is not anybody being sold. So I guess that's one positive thing in this absolutely horrific case. What's going on, Kellyanne? Nice to see you today. I hope you're having a beautiful day. One Feather, I don't know how I feel about this case. I almost don't want to know. These children will never be normal. God bless whomever is going to care for them. Yeah, One Feather, this is one of those cases, that's it's just mind-blowing. I was talking to a family member earlier about it because none of my friends in real life are into true crime like I am, but I have a couple family members that are. But anyways, long story short, I was saying how 16 children, it's like they're being treated so poorly that they're going to have lifelong effects from this. And every child is going to have different effects from this. And that's really the ultimate tragedy, is each child, each person is going to have their own personal struggle and personal battles throughout life because of how the parents shouldn't even be able to call these people parents, but because of the looked at adults in this situation traumatize these children so badly. And, that's heartbreaking. It really is. And another thing, One Feather, about how you said it's like you almost don't want to know. It's like, I guess there's pictures floating on the internet of that one room, apparently, that they were being kept in. And, what I've heard is bad enough. I don't need to see it, right? So, Cold Night. What's up, Cold Night? What's going on? But yeah, lots going on in this case. So, but yeah, so the news that came out is Gary Sider Sr. has now been released. However, he's in the hospital, like I said, in an Athens hospital, getting treatment. They haven't told the public what is going on with his medical condition. Obviously, that's HIPAA rules and laws, so we probably won't hear this unless a family member lets it slip somehow. But, just by looking at the group of people, you could tell they had some medical issues going on. What I want to know is what's going on with their eyes. Is that the ammonia and just all the smell of what's going on in that house? Because they looked like they had the reddest eyes, and it didn't look like it was from crying. You can tell when someone has, it's like their actual eyes would be red from crying, but their eyes are red all around here and their faces. And I think it's, my opinion is from the excrement in the house. That's the best way I can put it. But apparently the children had flies on them and it was terrible. For them to be described as feral, bad, very bad, guys. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed on any of these updates. Oh yes, regarding the Siders family, there could be more charges coming for Elizabeth and for Gary Siders Jr. So look out for that in the future. I can't definitively say that there will be charges put on them additionally. However, from what sources close to the situation, it's looking like there's going to be additional charges. Now, what those charges are, we can only speculate at this time. However, you can just imagine it's going to be pretty bad. And, I was looking at cases that I don't think there's really any case that's similar to this. However, there are cases that are similar-ish, right? And I've always noticed that 90%, 95% of the time, these people do not get enough charged on them. It's like and I don't understand that, because these are children we're dealing with. Why do they get a slap on their wrist for things that they should be getting life imprisonment for? And yes, I know the laws are, but this is a bad situation. You know what I mean? But all we can do now is pray for the best. And like One Feather said, in a situation that we're hoping for the best, we must pray and have faith that whoever takes care of these children in the future does an absolute amazing job and works with them the best they can. Gracie, you always come in here acting crazy, so I'm just going to time you out again. Do that, but we'll just do that and move on. But 1 second. Let me just do that real quick. All right, anyways. So we covered Gary Siders Sr. and how he's in the hospital right now. We covered the possibility of the additional charges. And I do want to remind everyone that reports have come out that the children are okay right now. Now, what does okay mean? That's another entire question for a different live. However, I guess they are being taken care of, obviously, at this moment. So just want to reassure people that they're getting the best care that they can at this time, from what I'm hearing. And I hope that they get the best care that they possibly can in the future. I'll be praying for them, that's for sure. Now, let me try to think. Anything else in that case that I've missed? I think that's a pretty good update. Pretty good update on the Siders case. Now, the Lynette Hooker case, as I stated earlier, it's looking like the soulmate boat was where the unaliving allegedly occurred. So that's big news. Big news. Oh, wow. Hold on 1 second, guys. Wow. Okay, so I just got an update. I watched this channel, this dude called Ickmill, and great channel. Shout out to Mel. But something just popped up that there was mass casualty, apparently 30 plus people, and a bus struck something. I don't know, but if anybody can let me know what's going on with that, let me know. Obviously, I got too many things going on right now in this live already to discuss that. That's going to be something that I'm going to have to research after this live. But if anybody knows where that is, or if it's really 30 plus people that are on a live, let me know. That's pretty crazy. It seems like every time I'm live, Mel puts out an update or something crazy happens that Mel covers. Every time I'm live, I don't know why that is, but shout out to Mel. But if you guys are just hopping in, please like the video and sub up. Helps the channel, helps the algorithm pop off, and that's what we need here, guys. We need to spread more awareness every single day that we can. We got the Nancy Guthrie case going crazy right now. 5 months, guys. It's been 5 months. Imagine that. I try to put myself in other people's shoes constantly. And if it had been 5 months that I was waiting and wondering where my family member was, and I had the most tragic feeling about it, man, that would bother me. It really would. But yeah, almost half a year now. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's truly unbelievable. And still, they haven't identified the porch guy yet. from what we've heard. How is this? How? How? And I still believe that there has to be some type of connection between the files and Ms. Nancy Guthrie. I still do. And even if it's just a coincidence, that would be the craziest coincidence ever. But to me, the Nancy Guthrie situation looks like a hit to me. It looks like a hit. The people went in there they were sent there to do a job, so to speak. Unfortunately, they did that job, it looks like. And why they ended up taking her with them, these are questions that need to be answered in the future. But these are questions that I currently have. Because you would think that if somebody was just going in there to do the hit, they go in there, they do the hit, and then they get out. They don't go in there, do the hit, take them with them. And, so that's where I have trouble understanding everything here. But we try to put the pieces together as good as we can here on this channel, whether it's when I do my remote viewing sessions or when I do my sleuthing, like we all do. We got to keep our sleuthing up, guys. But yeah, I'll definitely be checking out some new cases in the near future for sure. Because, I'm not the type of person that only covers one case for months at a time. I'm the type of person that covers a few cases for a month at a time, right? And then we'll get into another case. But as you guys know, the majority of the cases that I'm paying attention to right now, I don't even need to say it. You guys already know. But one of the other cases that I have been covering is the Anna Kepner case. That's a case I've been steadily covering as well. Hey, Summer, what's going on? Didn't know you were going live, Zach. Yeah, this is a spur of the moment live. This is one of those lives. So nice to see you tonight. I hope everyone's doing good that's just joining in. Please like the video and sub up. I'm happy to see you all. And it's nice to go over all these cases with you guys. But yeah, as I was saying, the Siders case is probably numero uno right now. Then we got Nancy Guthrie, Lynette Hooker, Anna Kepner, of course. One case that I'm going to start diving back into, though, is the David case. Now, you guys, I know you guys haven't forgot about the David case with Celeste. Rest in peace to Celeste. What happened to her is absolutely tragic, horrific, and it's almost unbelievable. Excuse me. Summer said, how long have you been on this live? I'm laying in the sun. About 23 minutes now. Hopefully that sun is hitting nice. It's how hot is it here? Let me see. It's 80 degrees right now here. Let me read what this says. Okay. That is a crazy comment, but we're just going to keep on going. So anyways, back to what we were covering. The Nancy Guthrie case, I've been trying to figure out new information regarding this case as of late. But for the people that don't know, for the people that haven't been following it day by day, which I know there are a few of you out there, you don't got to admit it right now, but maybe you haven't been keeping up on your Nancy Guthrie case as much as you once were. Well, I'm here to tell you guys the new information that's going on. Some new information that's going on is allegedly reports have come out that somebody amongst the media may have been placing evidence, they were falsifying some evidence around the scene, reports according to some reports. Now, who is this? Is this somebody that's a YouTuber? Is this somebody that's mainstream media? My opinion is probably a YouTuber. Now, if we think about all the YouTubers that have been getting harassed by law enforcement or just in general have been getting a stern talking to, so to speak, by law enforcement, you guys can put you can pin the tail on the donkey, so to speak, right? kind of understand who it may be. Summer said, I know all about the Nancy Guthrie case. Good to catch your live, Zach. Appreciate it. It's nice to see you today. Yeah, I wish I had a sprinkler here. That's nice. That sounds great. The ocean sounds great, actually. I'm hoping to go on a vacation this summer. That would be great. I would love to. I haven't been to the ocean in a couple years because, you know, it's just been tough. Been tough financially, but I think I'm going to get there this year. I'm going to make it a point to get there this year. But back to the Nancy Guthrie case. You know, 5+ months in, and trying to figure out this new information is like, you know, it's tough, but they are giving us some new information. I really wonder, though, who did this, allegedly, and what evidence could they have planted? The only thing that comes to mind is all the gloves that were found. Apparently, there was like 16 gloves found, and then a story came up that, or came out that they were a restaurant person's gloves. So I just don't know right now about that. But yeah, I'm wondering what evidence could they have planted and who was it? Who was it? So I'll definitely be looking into this. That's something that's going to keep me up at night. I'm going to be trying to figure this out consistently. So, and if you guys are finding anything out with your sleuthing knowledge, you let me know. And also, I want to state, Summer, I haven't been able to catch the last like few emails. So I'm a little behind on the emails you sent me. So I'll have to check those tonight. But I just wanted you to know I'm not ignoring them. Sometimes I get backed up on emails. Today I had a really busy day. I went live earlier and then I had to go to a meeting after that. So, you know, there was a lot going on. Business meeting, of course. But yeah, so busy day. It was a busy day today, but trying to catch up on everything that's going on regarding these cases. But I just want you guys to know that I will be looking into the David case more. That's a case I've kind of fallen behind on, and I want to get some more information going on that case. That way I can have that case hit the algorithm and we can bring more awareness to that case, because what has happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez is absolutely traumatizing, tragic, and anybody that has followed that case knows what David did to her is so inhumane, it's unbelievable. But it happened. You know, it's life. It really happened. Allegedly, of course. Summer, I don't know. There must be possibly more to all those gloves they found. Hard to say. But who is the porch guy? Okay, thanks, Zach. I hope everything is okay. Appreciate that, Summer. Appreciate that. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder what the evidence is, right? Hopefully we find out. Hopefully we don't have to wait until the trial to find out who did this. But, you know, if a member of the media did plant evidence, I would assume they would get charges brought against them, because that's a serious crime. You know, especially a case this high profile. But yeah, besides that, Summer, just some things I got to take care of. A few things I got to take care of in life. Summer said, is that the case where the poor girl was unalived and in the trunk? Yeah, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. That's the case with David. Yep. The D4VD guy. Yep. Took a long time to get him arrested, but they finally did. And now they bring their case against him as the days go by. What is that? Like sand in an hourglass. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we'll be talking more about that case. Also, we're going to be talking more about the Lindsay Clancy case, because that's a case that I have been on since day one on that, and it's a case I will continue to report on. That's the case out of Duxbury, Massachusetts, where allegedly Lindsay used a exercise band to, and this is graphic, guys, graphic, but allegedly Lindsay used an exercise band to unalive her children and then jumped out of her window and tried to unalive herself as well. This is a case, I believe, that has to do with a lot of mental health issues, doctors overprescribing medicines, combining medicines, as well as postpartum. Summer said, oh, yes, Lindsay Clancy, another crazy case. Yeah, so we got a lot we're going to be talking about here on this channel. So it's definitely a good time if you're subscribed to this channel, because we're going to be talking about a lot. There's going to be a lot going on in the near future regarding this case and these cases. But yeah, hopefully everyone's having a nice day today. It's extremely hot here. Like I said, it's 80 degrees. Plus we got, it feels honestly like 90 today, but saying 80 right now. Summer said, I already have 10 cases written down to keep track of. Now I better add these two. You better. The more cases coming up. What did you think of my Jennifer Provenzel remote viewing session results video, Summer? And if you guys don't know, I posted a new video today, a new remote viewing session results video. I know maybe not a lot of people in America have heard of this case, but I know my Canadian friends have definitely heard of this case. So shout out to them. And they're still keeping hope and faith alive for her, which I got to respect, Give credit where credit's due. I respect y'all. They were doing a walk like every Saturday for Jennifer and keeping her name alive, keeping the faith out there, and making sure her name doesn't just vanish in the wind like she has currently at this point in time. But I think I hit it pretty spot on, honestly. And sometimes what Spirit reveals to me isn't always spot on, but I feel like this was pretty accurate. Now, I'm going to have to do a part 2 to figure out who I believe allegedly unalived her. What up, noob? You remind me of RuneScape. Summer said hot but beautiful since it hit 104 here. It feels pretty nice out. Good, your remote viewing session on Jennifer Provenzel. I did comment on it. Yeah, spot on, I think. That's what's up. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you thought I was spot on it. I'm pretty accurate when it comes to my remote viewing sessions. They stand the test of time every time. And that's something I'll continue to say because it's super accurate. Appreciate that, 86. Take a guess how old you think I am. I always let people guess, and then I end up telling them after anyways. But oh, you hit me with the hairline joke. Oh no, you got me. Summer said her husband, what a creep. See his facial expressions. Yeah, I haven't actually looked at him too much, but once I saw what I saw during my remote viewing session, I looked at a few pictures and I put two and two together. But yeah, this hairline is a, you ever heard of a widow's peak? I got that fresh widow's peak. So it's actually pretty nice. But yep, definitely not 50. Definitely not 50. But yeah, Summer, ultimately, I do believe that her husband is the one that is involved in this case. I think he should be treated as suspect number 1, and I hope he is continued to be treated as suspect number 1 until they arrest him. But I've been trying to give you guys a little bit of everything here lately. Some cases from America, some cases out of Australia. Speaking of that, we need to figure out what happened to Gus Lamont. Justice for little Gus Lamont. 86, why am I out here speculating? Well, sometimes I speculate, sometimes I bring the facts, sometimes I talk about my psychic ability, you know, it's all depends on what day you catch me and what avenue I'm venturing down during that time. Summer said, I watched a second video for Venzel on YouTube. His reaction about the science posted about her. Yes, I think sadly on live Jennifer. Yeah, the question I'm going to be asking and what I'll be targeting during my next session on Jennifer is going to be where the person that unalived Jennifer put her. So I'll be targeting the location next. Summer said, Gus Lamont, okay, thanks for the reminder. 3 more cases to add to my list. Yeah, we've been covering Gus Lamont here on my channels for a long time now. Long time. 86, what's next week's? It doesn't work like that, bud. Doesn't work like that. If it did, we'd all be rich. And plus, when you're given gifts, you're supposed to use those gifts for the good and for the betterment of humanity, not to seek something like that, you know? That's why I believe I was given the ability to have these abilities. And no problem, Summer. We're going to stay covering the Gus Lamont case. The last update was when the grandmother pushed the reporter, you know, she gave her that shove, that stiff arm, you know. Reporter fell over. That was pretty crazy. 86, you don't got to believe in it. That's okay. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Let's see. Summer said, yes, I know with a few others. I forgot about Gus. I'm familiar. I saw Gus on your channel. Yeah. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what happened to poor Gus Lamont. But I've been pretty accurate, I would say. The most accurate I ever was on the Rebecca Park case, because I was able to let the public know what was done to her before it was known to the public. And that's impossible unless you have an ability like mine. All right. You guys are going savage up in this. Let's see. Summer said, that's another horrible case, Rebecca Park, sad. Sean, I'm not trying to talk about that stuff. We're talking about true crime, and the way that I use my abilities is I do remote viewing sessions. So I have a specific way I do everything, and I can link it, but I use a musical tone, and during that, I am able to connect with the target. So there's a lot going on with how I do it, but off the top of my head, it's just not going to happen. That's not how I work. But I will say that everybody's different. I am also able to connect with people that have passed, and that's something I take very seriously. So that I don't do as much, but I will say that there's a variety of ways that I use my abilities. Let's see here. But yes, Summer, the Rebecca Park case, man, when we were covering that case and I told everybody that the baby had been removed from her, people were like, no way. There's no way you know that, you know? And then come to find out, I knew it. I knew it days ahead of time too. Not even hours, days. '86, tell your nan. You're a savage. You're a savage, 86. Summer said, yes, that's tough. Poor Rebecca and her baby. Oh my God. And yeah, to this day, I don't think Rebecca's baby has ever been found. Now, I haven't looked the case up in a little bit of time, probably a month or so, but I would presume that I still don't believe her baby has ever been found. 86. Why am I single? Well, I'd rather be single because I only date people that I truly have feelings for. I don't just date to date. Yeah. And financially, yeah, I could be doing better, but I have never monetized any of my channels, and my goal is not to be wealthy off of any of this. Now, if I do make some money along the way, that's great. But this is never my goal, and it's not my goal. So whether I have, 1 cent or $1 million, I'm still going to be doing what I'm doing. But the love of money is the root of all evil, guys. So just remember that. Remember that. And I don't use the psychic ability to garner or gain money in any way, shape, or form. Summer said, oh no, that's sad. They didn't find her baby. Andrea always comes here about every other and says the same thing, but we're going to put you on time out. You'll learn one day, Andrea. Oh, man. But let's see here. Let me read some more comments. No, I don't want to use it to be rich, though. It's not, and I think that I feel like the people that use it for financial gain, like directly, I think that that's not what God intended. Now, if you don't believe in somebody like God, like Jesus, like I'm a Christian, so I have morals when it comes to this, right? Why I do this is to help either find missing people or it's to spread awareness. Those are my number one goals. And those will always be my goals. It's to help out others, it's to spread awareness, and it's to help find anybody that's missing. It's from the love of my heart and soul. And as I've always stated, if I ever run out of love for helping others, which will never happen because I'm the path that I help others, I'm always going to do that. I'll help others a million times before I help myself. And that's something I was thinking about the other day. It's like, I'm so good at giving others advice or dissecting another person's life or helping others, but helping myself, it's just something I'm not good at doing. And I think it's just because I care about others so much. And so my time consists of focusing on how to help others rather than helping myself, which I know that's not a good thing, but I can't help it. It's having too much empathy sometimes, and it can be a bad thing. It's a gift and a curse depending on how you use it. Let's see here. Summer said, that's true, Zach. I've saw good friends change drastically when they got promotions in larger homes. Sadly, one friend is better than me now. Good for her. Goodbye. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's just crazy, sometimes people with a lot of money are the most unhappy. Summer said, I have a lot of faith too, Zach. Me too, One of the big things that occurred in my life recently is the landlord that owns this home had to sell it, right? So he's in the process of doing that. So obviously my mother and I have to figure out, where we're going to move. But no matter if I had $1 million to figure this situation out or the money I have now to figure this situation out, my happiness is still going to be what it is. I'm still going to be a happy person, have faith, have hope, and keep on praying and allow God and Jesus to provide. I truly believe that we are given all we need to survive. And I just wanted to state that. Uh, 86. So am I a saint? No, not a saint. I've made plenty of mistakes, and I've sinned in my life. I'm not Jesus. I'm not a perfect person, but every saint was once a sinner, that fell and got knocked down. So just remember that. Every saint was once a sinner that fell and got knocked down. What's up, Sean? Sean said, that's true. Health is wealth. That's right, Sean. Shout out to you, man. You know what's up. What's up? Summer, Zach, check the comments. I'm checking them. Sean said he's a disciple. Yeah, in a way. 86 says, but you are doing magic in the name of God. Well, I could understand where you would formulate that opinion, but I don't look at anything that I do as magic because I was given these abilities by God in my mind, in my understanding. So it's not magic. It's intuition cranked up 100 times over, right? That's the way I'd like to describe it for now. '86. How is one that performs miracles in the name of God not a saint? Well, figuring stuff out ahead of time, knowing how Rebecca Park was unalived and everything that happened in that case. Same thing with figuring out what happened with Emmanuel Haro before it happened. Allegedly, right? But that doesn't make me a saint. It just makes me a human that is tapped into his abilities. But if you want to call it miracles, I will definitely take that compliment. Sean said, well, cuz I can tell you're a good human. Very few people are nice unconditionally. Like you, I can tell you don't judge anyone. You are. And that's it, man. You don't play an act. You're a good man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That comment made my day. Oftentimes the people with the brightest smiles hide the darkest pains. And I really needed that comment right now. So thank you. 86. If you are psychic, why not save people before they get deleted? Very good question. 86. So sometimes I get premonitions maybe a day or two before on certain topics, but I am never given at this point in time, I have never been able to know right before someone was going to get unalived. That's not something that God has been giving me the ability to see. However, I have been able to locate and target areas around where people have gone missing or where people are at, and help retrieve them that way. Now, by mapping out areas or by giving people ideas of the area, such a thing like that. Summer said, please email me after this live if you can, Zach. Yeah, no problem, Summer. I got you. I'll catch up on those emails. I'll look at them and then I'll respond. Sean said, ever have deja vu? It's just your brain somehow seeing the future. That's interesting. I just had that freeze like, no, but seriously, that's pretty interesting, Sean. I just did like the robot. I was like, I was stuck. Let's see, 86. Doesn't make much sense being psychic after someone has been unalived. Well, I mean, you can figure out how it happened, why sometimes. You get to help put the person away, which is getting justice is the most rewarding thing that happens in this whole thing for me. Like I always say, 99% of the time, the only thing I get out of this is the act of the justice occurring, right? Like, and seeing people be happy because the person that hurt their loved one is put away, or, things being just, like sometimes the only thing I get out of it is the justification of knowing these mofos are getting put the fudge away and their family members can start to grieve, help the situation by the grieving process starting. and ultimately bringing justice to everybody involved, right? But, my goal when I started this whole adventure was just to help others, just somehow to help others. Let's see here. Uh, 86. Those are a lot of crazy comments. Yeah. Okay. A lot of crazy comments. You can do whatever you want, man, but I'm gonna put you on timeout just so you can think about what you've done. We'll give you a 30-minute timeout. So not too far, but just a little bit. But yeah, that was weird. That guy turned from to being a heinous mofo within seconds. But yeah, I just am who I am. And, the fact that God has given me the ability to help others doesn't make me better than anyone else or worse than anyone else. I am who I am, and that's all I am. I'm just human. I'm just a man. So Sean said 30 minutes. LOL, he's gone, never coming back. Yeah, he gone. But regardless of him being gone, this stream kind of took a little turn. I kind of went on a rant, but it happens. It happens from time to time. But let's steer this shit back on track. And where were we? We've talked about the Siders case. We've talked about the Nancy Guthrie case today, the Lynette Hooker situation, which was breaking news. Breaking news, by the way. Let's see. Sean said, "You're just the universe experiencing a human form." Yeah, I think a lot of this has to do with just the experience. Grandmaster, why didn't you answer his questions? What a name, man. What a name. I tried to, but he was firing off like 16 questions within 10 seconds. So, you can only answer so much, especially when you have other people you're talking to as well. And then half of his 16 questions were just insults. So if that's an answer, I would hope that's a pretty good answer for you. But yeah. You just kick anyone that disagrees with you? No, I'm not trying to kick anybody. I don't want to. But I will time you out if you're spamming the chat and being heinous, This is a safe space for people to discuss true crime, for people to get along, and for true crime to be discussed in a proper manner. This isn't an area for people to be reckless, to pick on one another, or to cyberbully for that matter. So if you do any of that, if you do any of that, you will be either timed out or kicked. 61 said, "Do you think lying is a sin against God?" Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sean said, "He just kicks people that try and nag and poke fun of others." Exactly. So you see what's up, Sean. Summer said, "Zach, I was trying to get you to look at his comments sooner. He had some nasty comments toward you. Did you see his comments about math?" Yeah. Once you start talking about crazy stuff like that, you're just gone. Unless it has to do with cases, right? If it has to do with the Martell case, because he's mathing, he's always mathing. But yeah. "61, you don't have to agree with it, but the proof's in the pudding, man. The proof's in the pudding. And it would be, okay, so if I was, the only way I'd be lying is if I didn't tell people the truth about who I am and the abilities that I was given. And at the beginning of all this, people that know my story, they've heard it many times. I've told people many times. But basically, long story short is, I knew that a lot of people were not going to believe, or were going to disagree, or were going to start problems, or were going to say stuff. But I knew that a lot of people would understand the message, would receive the message, the ones that were truly ready for it. And at the same time, I would be able to help the world. Even if it was just little by little, day by day, I was going to be able to help the world spread awareness and help get justice. And I was willing to sacrifice myself in any way, shape, or form in order to help others. And if that means getting poked fun at a little bit here and there, then so be it. You know, I don't mind. I've been a punching bag for most of my life, so it's okay. Let's see. Sean said 61. Yeah, it's funny. Let's see. 61 said, either you are lying and sinning or you are a saint creating miracles. Yeah, you know, so I am doing this from my heart and soul. None of my videos make $1. I've never monetized anything in my channels, and that you can fact check that. Never uploaded anything to get my channels monetized, and that was by choice. So if I get donations, that's great. But you guys haven't heard me ask for them not once on this stream, not once on the last stream, because it's not what I'm in it for, right? If somebody comes on here and they're like, hey, I want to help you out, can I donate? Yeah, I'll tell you my Cash App, but I'm not actively searching for donations. I am here to help from the bottom of my heart in any way I can. And I picked the genre of true crime because that's what I'm interested in. And I've always been since I was a little kid. You know, when I first heard of the John Benet Ramsey case, that case caught my attention. And as a little kid, I knew what happened in that case, allegedly. Let's see here. Trying to catch up on these comments. Sean said, well, shit, I was wrong, but hey, I don't claim to be the one with the powers. Hey, at least you tried. At least you tried. And then Sean said, people just can't accept greatness, Zach. Yeah, you know, I've always shot for the stars, you know. What's that saying? Shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars. That's the type of thing that I try to do. And being somebody who's an open book, being somebody who connects very well with others. I'm a people person, but in my normal life, it's weird because I don't talk much in my normal day-to-day life. I probably say maybe 50 words a day when I'm not on live. But when I'm on live, I'm here firing off at the mouth because true crime is a passion of mine. Helping people is a passion of mine. And it's something that I've always been interested in. And if it helps me be able to live life and I can help people at the same time, then that's a win-win situation that I can't pass down, right? I can't pass over. Summer said, I don't know how a psychic can prove they're psychic, as some people just don't believe it, right? Some people are just like, nope, I'm not going to believe it no matter what you say, right? And I can't argue with somebody like that, and I'm not going to. Grandmaster said, then go to the Vatican and help the church with your miracles. Just because I'm Christian doesn't mean I want to be up in front and center with the church. But good idea. Good idea. Summer says, Zach, when did you last receive a donation? Let me look. Hold on. It's July. I don't know. Maybe May. Maybe May. Maybe April. So yeah, it's been a long time. And yeah, it's been a really long time. Been a really long time. And people that come in here talk about anything like that, they've just made videos up trying to defame my name. But hasn't worked yet, and it won't. Let's see. And people that have donated to me in the past, they donated knowing that it was for personal reasons. I told them up in front. So, it's nothing that I'm carrying with me. Summer said, that's a long time ago, Zach, and yet you're still covering true. Exactly. It's months ago. I haven't received not even a $5 donation in months, and I still do this because it's from the bottom of my heart. No, 61, that's not the case. People have twisted a whole bunch of stuff and made it seem like it's one thing when it's not, but yep. Let's see. Sean said, no, did you not just listen? Yeah, exactly. They'd be trying to make the name bad because they're jealous, and it's okay. Like, I'm okay with it, but I just don't respond much, and I don't let it affect me because it's not true. And if I was able to, if I went after every single person that tried to make one thing sound like another, then I would be going at people all day, and I don't have the time for that. Sean said they gonna hate us because they ain't us. That's right. But yeah, you definitely understand that I've been covering true crime for such a long time, and months, not even one donation. People complain every single time they get on live about their donations. Me, I just let it go, Let's see. But yeah, so we've talked about the Elizabeth Siders case, the Gary Sider Jr.'s case. We talked about how Gary Sider Sr. got released, and currently he is in the hospital getting treatment for something that's serious. We don't know what it is yet, but he will then be released on a GPS monitor back home, if and when he is able to be released. My question becomes, how the heck was he dealing with this at home? And did he even know he had a serious medical condition? Sean said, y'all are straight up. Yeah. Sean said, I want to be psychic like Zach. There's a lot that comes with it. It's a gift and a curse because sometimes you feel like you have the whole weight of the world on your shoulders. And a lot of the times I do. And 61, I have proved it. I've proven it with multiple cases that I've covered. You must not have been around for those cases, though. The Emmanuel Haro case, the Rebecca Park case. I've called it in multiple cases. Even just recently, the James Weston Higginbotham case. I called exactly what happened in that case before it was public knowledge. Uh, 61 said, what's going to happen to Israel? Ooh. That I have no idea. I have not looked into that much, and I can only imagine, right? But if I wanted to study that and then predict something, I probably could. But that's a little bit out of my pay grade. We'll call it that for now. But yeah, so I wanted to go over the Siders case, which we did. We talked Nancy Guthrie a little bit and how a member of the media allegedly planted some evidence. Allegedly. Now, we don't know, like I've been saying, if it's a member of the YouTube crew or if it's a member of the actual media, but something's fishy there. Christopher, Yeah, if you're talking about the Matt Brown case, not sure if you are, but that case is crazy. Let's see. Okay, I was reading some comments, but there's a lot going on in the chat. A lot going on in the chat. But all right, so I'm trying to think of what I want to cover tomorrow, because I think I'm going to go live tomorrow. I think what I want to cover is the Tyler Robinson case a little bit more. That's a case I could brush up on a little bit. Let me think. What else? What else could we cover tomorrow? Definitely the Tyler Robinson case. And we'll see what else. But Sean said, F, he's got a point there. Why don't you monetize your magic, make bank? Then you can solve even more crimes and use your powers for even more good. You know, I've thought about monetizing my channel, which, you know, I could, but I'm trying to stay true to my morals and true to myself. Like, I've never monetized any of my channels, and, you know, I've missed out on thousands of dollars because of that. But I've always stayed true to myself. And when people help me, it's because of people donating to my Cash App, right? So I guess I'll plug it because people are talking about it. So if anybody does want to donate, you can donate at Zachary Jackson 1. That's ZACHERY Jackson 1 on Cash App. Once again, ZACHERY Jackson 1. But yeah, I wasn't going to plug that, but since everyone's talking about it, I guess we can. But yeah, you know, so yeah, we're going to cover the Tyler Robinson case tomorrow. And what else are we going to cover? What case has been on you guys? Oh, definitely going to cover the Gus Lamont case tomorrow. So Tyler Robinson, Gus Lamont tomorrow is on the schedule. I know people didn't know that I'd be going live, but I will be going live. And Grandmaster, you've been hating this whole time, so we're going to put you in timeout for a little bit. Not the whole time, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, Sean, the P. Diddy case? Diddy. You know, maybe we can check that case out a little bit. I have not covered that case. I don't think I've ever covered that case on this channel. Maybe, yeah, no, I haven't. But on my other channel I have, but not on this one. Summer said, I agree, Sean. Zach, monetize your channel. Everyone else is, and you need the money. Yeah, you know, I do. It would help out big time. And I might as well, right? At this point in time, it's like, might as well. Sean, that's savage. That is savage. Let's see. POL, bro, you just kicked him for. No, that's not what I kicked him for. If you saw him in the previous conversation, this whole time he's been calling me names and saying crazy things. So I didn't kick him either. I just put him on timeout. So he's only on timeout, only 30 minutes. But all I ask is people don't spam the chat. Keep it a safe space. Don't cyberbully anybody. And he broke that rule. So if you break the rule, I mean, that's on you. But yeah, so I'll definitely be going live again tomorrow. And look, Summer just said he had a lot of bad comments. Zach, I read all of them. POL, he told Sean to not get scammed, and you cut him off. He was saying a ton of bad stuff. So, but yeah, it's not scamming if somebody wants to help out. You guys have everything twisted. Like, if somebody wants to donate to somebody, that's not a scam. Savages. You guys are savages. Sean said, well, I got to go, but love you, bro. Keep it up. Word back to you, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're here again, and hopefully you can like and sub up. All right. So we've been live for a little over an hour now. I've discussed a bunch of cases. I've even let you guys go a little bit savage on me, which is okay. Sometimes we got to have that. I don't mind. You know, I actually like interacting with the trolls once in a while. It's kind of fun. POL, Summer and I are we go way back. She's been following my channel since day one, so yeah, she's always been there. Respect to that. I respect that so much. But yeah. So we've covered all the cases I've wanted to cover tonight. And tomorrow morning, we're going live at 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. where we're going to be going live tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern. And we're going to be covering the Tyler Robinson. Oh, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about the Tyler Robinson case before I hop off, okay? So video images have come out, or actually the video themselves. And you see Tyler standing up. So I'll stand up for you guys. And he's walking like this, but he's limping with one leg, okay? And you can clearly see he's limping with his one leg. And in his pants, it's either the weapon itself or something to, let's call it, help him attach things within the weapon. I believe it's the weapon itself, though. Now, so those videos have come out. Summer said, I don't know about Tyler Robinson. So Tyler Robinson is the guy, allegedly, that unalived Charlie Kirk. And they're doing the preliminary hearing. So tomorrow we're going to talk a lot about that case. I'll give you guys a rundown on that case tomorrow. But I wanted to state that there is video evidence of Tyler, what looks to be limping with something in his within his pants, we're going to call it. And it ain't the something you're trying to think of right now. Oh, damn. But yeah, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. Also, we're going to be talking about a few other things, of course. If there's any updates on the Lynette Hooker case, I will be giving that update as it happens. So let's say at 3 a.m. tonight, Lynette Hooker news comes out that Lynette Hooker has been either found or it's confirmed or Brian Hooker gets arrested, something like that, then I will jump on live immediately because I've been covering the Lynette Hooker and Brian Hooker situation from day one. And so if anything happens within that case today, tonight, tomorrow, I will be live as soon as I hear about it. So you guys can expect that. But 8 a.m. tomorrow, I'll be going live 8 a.m. Eastern, guys. So plan on that. Also, I'll be covering the David case a little bit. POL said, tell us the outcome now since you are psychic. The outcome of what, POL? Which case? And I've pretty much told people the outcome on the Lynette Hooker situation. The Anna Kepner case, I was spot on as well. If you guys watch my videos, I'm spot on, guys. Like 95% of the time, I'm accurate. And I like to think I'm within the top, I would say 10% of psychics in the world. I would like to think I'm about 70% accurate with my predictions. But that's me being humble, right? Because most likely I'm in the 90 percentile. But I'm a humble person. I've always been a humble person, and I always will be. POL says, sounds like guessing. Yeah, I could understand why you would think that, but it's way different. You know, when I do a remote viewing session, it takes hours, right? It could take anywhere from like 1.5 to like 3.5 hours. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just like me guessing, you know? And I speak from my heart and soul when I come up on here. It's not like I just get up on here and go live like some people. No, when I talk about these cases, it comes from my heart and soul. POL said would be 100% if it wasn't guessing. No, I'm not perfect. You know, I'm just human. I'm just human. POL, how much does 3 hours cost? 3 hours of, like, if you were trying to have a one-on-one session. So what I do is I do 30-minute sessions or hour-long sessions. And 30-minute sessions is usually I charge 40, and then hour-long sessions, you know, I would only charge 70. So, but I don't like charging as it is. But if you want a one-on-one session, those are the prices. I try to do it cheap because I don't like charging as it is. Like I said, this whole live, I've been telling you guys, I don't like profiting off of it. However, like Summer said, I should monetize it. And Summer said, only God knows 100% of everything. Exactly. POL, if you don't agree with it or you don't believe in it, that's fine. I always tell everyone the same thing. You don't have to believe. You don't have to agree. But you're here watching me, so that's okay. But I appreciate you guys being here, no matter if you agree or disagree. I actually like when people disagree because then we can have good conversations about it. You know, the dialect becomes good. POL, you asked me about my sessions. I told you the going rates. Some people charge $100 an hour. Some people charge $200. You know, it all depends on who you are and what you charge, right? Like, I'm a type of person that's going to charge cheaper because I believe in helping humanity. I don't want to profit, but you know, if you're going to ask me about a one-on-one session, I told you what it is. So Summer said, yes, you should monetize your channel. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I think it's the right thing to do. So we'll wrap this one up another few minutes. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to discuss amongst these cases tonight that I haven't yet. I'm really interested in who within the media is allegedly planting evidence in the Nancy Guthrie case. And also, it was stated that this happened early on in the case. So this wasn't something that happened, you know, in the middle. This happened very early on, allegedly. Summer said, some people charge 100 for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, they have multiple videos about you to get more subscribers, right? All right, POL. Like I said, you don't have to agree. I don't mind it, but it is what it is, right? Yeah, so I appreciate you being here, though. But if anybody has any questions amongst these cases that we've talked about today, or the cases we're going to be discussing tomorrow morning, then let me know. This has been a great live, though, today. I've appreciated everyone being here. We've got to discuss a lot about these cases, especially the Siders family. The Siders case has been on the forefronts of everyone's mind lately, and I'm very glad we got to discuss this. But all right, guys, so please like the video. Please sub up. That doesn't cost a thing, and it helps the algorithm big time. Summer said, Zach, do we know anything more about the porch guy? Good question right there, Summer. So, what I will say is this. Criminal Network, he's a YouTuber, put out a live video talking about somebody with the last name Abnousi or Abnouzi. Don't know how you say it exactly, but it caused a lot of chaos because then he received what looked like a cease and desist letter stating that he needed to take that down. Anybody with that name needed to be taken down out of his videos. And knowing Criminal Network, he basically said a big F you to them and that he was keeping the videos up. So I don't know if there's any connection there, but I will say that it has caused a stir amongst the community involving the Nancy Guthrie case. Now, if you look into this name, apparently these people or this person was staying at the casita. So these Abnousi, last name, somebody related to that family was staying at the casita, allegedly. Now, also allegedly, they didn't stay there too long, but that is what I have heard. Summer said, interesting, Zach. I didn't hear about that. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And once he brought that up and got that letter, I was like, okay, something to this. Because as you guys know here, I don't believe in coincidences at all. But all right, guys. So I'm glad we could wrap this video up. I'm glad we could talk about everything today. And once again, I'm glad I could help out, help bring awareness, help get justice for everybody that we talk about. So tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about the Gus Lamont case, and we're going to be talking about the Tyler Robinson case. So hopefully everybody enjoys that tomorrow, and hopefully everybody enjoyed the live today. But we're going to have to do the saying. We're going to have to do the saying, as we always do, guys. For everybody that's been here since day one, come on. I know you guys want to say the saying with me. And for everybody that doesn't know, it goes a little something like this. Without you guys, there'd be no me. I love you guys. It's Zach. Peace.